Welcome to the Advancing Innovation in Adult Education podcast series, funded by the Office of Career, Technical, and Adult Education at the U.S. Department of Education. In this interview, Susanne Campagna, Director of Education at Hampden County Sheriff's Department, known as HCSD, in Ludlow, Massachusetts, will be speaking with Kermit Dunkelberg, Assistant Vice President for Adult Basic Education and Workforce Development at Holyoke Community College, about the Integrated Education and Training, or IET, Culinary Arts Program. The IET Culinary Arts Program at HCSD was recognized by Advancing Innovation for a holistic approach to core adult education program services, as well as a range of supportive services to engage, motivate, and enable learners to attain their goals for participating in adult education. The IET Culinary Arts Program is the first and only correctional education program to offer an IET program in Massachusetts. Pre-release learners earn the ability to take classes off-site at HCC in the Culinary Arts Institute. Learners are eligible to receive 6 college credits at HCC when they complete the Culinary Arts Program and can continue their career pathway to obtain a certificate or their associate degree in culinary arts at HCC.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Susanne Campagna, and I'm the Director of Education at the Hampden County Sheriff's Department in Ludlow, Massachusetts. It's my pleasure this afternoon to be with my colleague and partner in our IET program, Kermit Dunkelberg, and I'll ask Kermit to introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Kermit Dunkelberg. I'm Assistant Vice President for Adult Education and Workforce Development at Holyoke Community College in Hampden County, Massachusetts.
And today we're here to discuss our IET program, which is a collaboration between the Sheriff's Department and Holyoke Community College with a focus on culinary arts and HCSD. So our students are participating in this program from the Hampden County Sheriff's Department, and they're getting their vocational training through a program at Holyoke Community College. So we have been in partnership with HCC for several years, and I believe the partnership started, Kermit, back with a rapid response grant.
Yes, this actually predated the IET model. It was a workforce development grant from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And the Sheriff's Office approached us with the idea of doing some culinary training. They had a culinary program within their facilities. They had opportunities and still have opportunities for people to get some experience working in food production, but they didn't have the curriculum and didn't have the facilities for training. They didn't have a training kitchen. So the kitchens were meant to produce food, not for training with individual workstations and things like that. We now have state-of-the-art facility called the HCC MGM Culinary Arts Institute, which was built when MGM Resorts was coming into Springfield to start a casino. But even before that, we had our own dedicated culinary training kitchen on the campus. And it took several meetings of trying to figure out how this could possibly work, because, of course, of the complications of working with incarcerated adults, transportation, supervision, and schedules. Because, all of the people in the program have other work commitments, other program commitments that they have. And finally, one day in one of our meetings, the light bulb went off that a Saturday program would be the answer, because during the week, we just could not arrive at a schedule that would work for everyone due to the various other programs and work commitments that they had. But Saturdays were relatively free, and that made it possible to provide the transportation and to provide the supervision, working with some corrections officers who are retired actually and coming back doing just Saturdays. So those logistics worked out very well. That funding then went away after we had done it for 2 or 3 years. We were very happy with the program, all of us, but we did not have the resources to continue it for a short period of time. And then the IET RFP came out, and Susanne and her boss at the time and colleague, Dr. Daniel O'Malley, Director of Education at that time, thought that this might be a good fit to put the culinary training, which we had been doing, together with the ABE HCSD courses during the week. And I'll let Susanne pick it up from there.
So we were successful. We were the only successful correctional institution for the 2014 funding for IET, and we began with a focus on how to make this program better. We decided the Saturday component worked really well, but we had to really ramp up the academic component and make sure we were contextualizing our high-set curriculum. So we put a lot of effort into contextualizing our math classes, and over the years we have continued to make improvements with our program. Not only the vocational culinary skills training part, but also the academic part. And through the years, we've added several new components, including a digital literacy component, which has now become one of the most important features in our evening classes. So the point of the digital literacy class is to bring in English language arts, graphic design, and some math. The students design a food truck, which they name and design with the publisher program. They write a food truck concept using Microsoft Word to type up their concept, and they get some English language skills there with editing and revising a draft. And we also do some recipe costing for this food truck project. And the students actually put the whole thing together into a PowerPoint slideshow. So a lot of digital literacy has also been incorporated into the academic component. And we work on serve-safe vocabulary and reading review during their reading classes, and we do a lot of math that is contextualized for the Math for Chefs program.
The culinary curriculum is based on what we teach in our credit program, and it's the equivalent of what we call Culinary 100 or Introduction to Culinary Arts. And there is an opportunity for students in this program to actually get credit for prior learning for completion of it. They have to get their high school credential before that can be activated. But the standards of the credit program are also aligned to the American Culinary Federation, ACF standards, industry standards. So it's standards-based instruction, and over the years we've gotten more specific about how we're assessing the students' practical skills every week and giving them feedback. We are fortunate to work with an instructor who's a teacher in the vocational technical high school system in Connecticut, which is also aligned to the ACF standards, and he had a really great understanding of how to teach in a standards-based way and how to assess student progress. So there's a lot of alignment. As Susanne mentioned, we have to do a lot of pre-reading for the ServSafe exam. It's a difficult exam, and having that certificate is so important in getting a job. So we do not only the ServSafe instruction that's incorporated into our usual college classes, but we do pre-ServSafe reading, how to study, how to break down that chapter and identify the important points. As Susanne said, we also have incorporated Math for Chefs. This is part of our curriculum, but because of that food truck project and the other math that's done during the week, these students are getting a lot more contextualized math than our college students typically get in the culinary program. Other things we teach are, cooking methods, knife skills. After ServSafe, probably the most important thing at MGM Resort Springfield, for instance. If you want to work there, they will have you come in and show your knife skills by dicing an onion or a tomato. And that's how they know whether you've got the competencies to work there. So we cover the basics of a wide range of cuisines and cooking methods. And all of that is the hands-on piece that we do on Saturdays. So prior to that, we have a few weeks, which is in the facility, preparing them, and they have to kind of earn their way to those classes which are on the campus. It's exciting for them to come. It's exciting for us to have them on our college campus and in that state-of-the-art facility. And what's really exciting also is the graduation ceremonies. Families are able to come and join them. The students are so proud, and most of them stand up and present on their food truck project, as well as serving a meal which they have prepared themselves.
So Kermit mentioned the importance of ServSafe, and that's only one of several credentials that the students earn. We also have them work and earn their allergen training certificate, also through ServSafe. And we have the Certified Kitchen Cook certificate, which is another test that they have to take and pass to earn that certification, and that's through the American Hotel and Lodging Association. So we try to build a resume for the students with these stackable credentials. The goal is either to have them continue on into the HCC Culinary Arts Training Program or to transition to employment. Because this program is offered to our men in our minimum custody facility, they are one step closer to release. So it's a pre-release facility. And our goal is to get them ready to enter society as a working adult. So we partner with several different employers as well. And one of our employment partners, as Kermit mentioned, is the MGM Springfield Casino, which has become an integral part of this program. We have just added a new component with our class, I think for a couple of cycles now, where MGM comes in and does a mock interview with our students that is pre-recorded. So the students sit, they are prepped a little bit, and then they answer some questions that are recorded. The recording is sent off to the Human Resources at MGM, who then takes the time to individually meet with students via Zoom and give some critical feedback, positive and negative, and what was strong, what was a weakness, on what they could do to improve and whether or not they would be a good candidate to put an application in for employment at the MGM Casino. Several restaurants are there, from fast food to fine dining, so there's ample opportunity for employment. We also bring in other employment partners because they hear directly from the chefs in charge of the kitchen what it takes to be successful in the culinary field. It's a busy industry. Not everyone is cut out for it, and it's good for them to hear firsthand a day in the life of a chef who's been working in the industry for many, many years. So we have some very successful partnerships with employers. The Hampden County Sheriff's Department also brings in our all-inclusive support systems team, which is an employment team that can help with getting the students post-release connected with employment. You know, once they get out, their priorities are housing and employment. They have to find a way to support themselves and find a place to live. And that is a service provided through the Sheriff's Department. So the program has changed and improved over the several cycles. Again, we've been doing this since 2014. Kermit and I discussed bringing in some facilitators to do special programming. Can you speak a little bit, Kermit, about Chauncey Barret's work with us?
Sure. Well, Chauncey Barret is an instructor who does a lot of workforce training programs with us, and she's really an expert in customer service. She's highly motivating and energetic, and so she does a guest service gold certificate, which is another certificate of the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute. And she not only presents that material, but packages a lot around it in terms of teamwork, communication, professionalism, and they come away with this additional certification. That's actually a certification that MGM had brought to our attention when they were coming to the region. And I know we've spoken about MGM quite a bit. They do kind of set the standard in our region, but there are employment opportunities in a wide variety of settings. And it was in part due to the advocacy of the Hampden County Sheriff's Department that the initial ban against people with a CORI issue of working at the casino at all was lifted. Initially, when the casinos were coming into Massachusetts, the policy was going to be if you had any kind of criminal background, you couldn't work anywhere on the property. That has been greatly revised, and so working in the kitchen with many senses in someone's background is not a barrier to working there. And that's an example of just how proactive and outside of the box Hampden County Sheriff's Department overall, not only the education department, has been. So a program like this, which involves taking people out of the facility, driving them up to a community campus, giving them that freedom, that responsibility, providing the additional staff needed to do that, coordinating all those logistics. This is the kind of thing that Hampden County Sheriff's Department really has embraced. And without that, there would be no way to do it. On the side of the college, we're providing the workforce training and our expertise in that area. But this program is also really embraced by the college as a whole. We frequently have the president of the college as a guest at our graduations. It's one that the campus is very proud of because we also share the vision of helping people develop skills so that they can avoid reincarceration. I said to the students at the last graduation, we don't want to see you back here. We want to see you working behind the counter or back in the kitchen or managing your food truck. We want to see you out in the community being successful and being able to stay with your families. And that shared vision is what we always have in mind. So when all the logistical issues come up, we find ways to solve them. And then Susanne has been really amazing at continuing to innovate the program, always trying to make it a little bit better each time we do it. So there's also not a dose of resting on our laurels. We're always trying to make it better. And I think we have.
I couldn't agree more. I think we work very well collaboratively, and I think we're successful because we talk often, and I think we're always in with one another to make sure we're doing what we set out to do together. I think one of the things that makes us strong is having a written MOU that clearly outlines what it is the responsibility for Hampden County Sheriff's Department and the responsibilities for Holyoke Community College. I think that has helped guide our success, just being clear with one another from the beginning. Hey, this falls to you and this falls to the college. So when asking what advice would you give to someone starting an IET program, that's one thing that I would say is important. Having a strong community partner, having someone who will work with you and really understand the challenges and barriers and concerns that a correctional education program might be facing, and someone who is open to working with you to overcome the obstacles that can get in the way. And I think we have been so successful. Again, with your leadership, Kermit, with the backing of the college, and with our sheriff being totally in support of seeing our students succeed, this has been a win for both of us, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this program. Can you add anything to what advice might you give someone who would want to start an IET program?
On the flip side of things, on your side, you need a strong community partner. On our side, we need, as I said, a sheriff's department that's willing to give people chances and willing to be innovative. Without that flexibility and problem-solving ethos on the sheriff's department side, on the corrections side, this would not be possible. You have to really be engaged to make it work.
As Kermit mentioned earlier, one of the highlights of this program is the graduation, which is the culmination of 15 weeks worth of hard work and effort on the part of the students, where they get to showcase their work in the kitchen by cooking a nice meal for their invited guests. And then we have a beautiful ceremony, and there have been up to 100 guests in the room, where the students present their work and we award their certificates. And you can see how impressed and how proud the families are that their loved one has accomplished something so meaningful while serving their time with us at the Sheriff's Department.
I think another part of the program's success really is the screening that you do to qualify people for this program. And we have had, I would say more so early on than subsequently, we've had behavioral issues, we've had conflicts emerge, et cetera. And we always try to address those in the context of, these are the skills you're going to need to keep a job when you get out. Like, you're going to have to be able to resolve conflicts in an appropriate way. So there's a lot of reinforcement of that, and there's a lot of messaging up front about what a privilege this program is and what the expectations are. But Susanne, maybe you want to talk a little bit about how you set that tone and how you screen people for the program.
It's a competitive program, so students have to put in an application if they're interested in participating. And my advisor screens every application to make sure that the student doesn't have the credentials that they'll be working towards. So ServSafe and the allergen training and the certified kitchen cook and the other credentials, we look for someone who needs those credentials. We also look at their reading level. We want to make sure they are skilled enough, their reading is high enough to pass that ServSafe exam because it is difficult. So we go through a screening process just looking at who will be in custody long enough to complete the program. Early on, we would take students who would have a release date 4 weeks before graduation. And unfortunately, they wouldn't come back to finish. We would lose them if they were released prior to our program completion. So during subsequent cycles, we have come to realize it works out best if they are in our custody for almost the entire 15-week cycle. And then we make them interview for a spot. So we hold an interview and they have to convince us that they are the right person to participate in this program and what their goals are and why they're choosing to become a part of it. So fortunately, we can pick and choose those that best fit the profile for someone we want in the program. So we've been very lucky in that respect. And lately, our cohorts have been working really, really well together. It's been a true pleasure to watch the students work together and learn from each other. And they have to toe the line once they're back in the facility, too. So it's not just the Saturdays. It's the evening programming where they're going to school and working on their high set and making sure that they're compliant with the other aspects of the program. So although Saturday is a big part of it because it's a 7.5-hour day on a Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., during the week, they have to go to school. They have to do their math classes, their reading and writing classes, and their digital literacy classes. So all in all, it's over 200 hours of instruction that the students get while participating in our IET HiSET program. Our employment rate has really been increasing with the students are able, especially now, there are so many job openings, the students are able to transition to employment very easily if that is what they wish to do. One thing I think that our program does prepare students for is the world of work. Yes, we would like them to go into the culinary field because that is the area, that they just spent 15 weeks learning about. But we also view employment as a win. If they come out with a resume and they get a job in a different field, I think it's still a win for us because the goal is to have them become productive members of society as they transition back to life in the community.
What they're learning and practicing is not only how to cook and how to keep your workstation clean and all that, but it is really about working as a team. It's about communicating appropriately. It's about showing up on time, following expectations. So it's a lot of work readiness skills that are transferable to other types of work. And for some of them, they'll have better paying opportunities, frankly, in other sectors. than in culinary. One of the nice things about culinary is that there's a lot of work available in our region. There are opportunities there. One of the things that sold me on this whole notion in the very beginning was a presentation that I went to at the Sheriff's Department where the presenter said that the biggest factor in anti-recidivism, the thing that has is educational gain. So for someone to complete their high school equivalency and to have a positive experience on a college campus as a learner, hopefully has a real impact on their future, because we know that educational attainment is the biggest anti-recidivism tactic there is. The second is probably employment and ability to hold down a job. So we're doing the employability skills. We're also raising their educational horizons and returning that feeling of confidence that some of them may have lost at some time. And some of them feel like, oh, it's too late for me, I'm too old. No, you can acquire new skills and knowledge at any time of your life, and we give them that experience to be able to realize that for themselves.
Thank you so much for listening to the Advancing Innovation podcast series. Please visit Advancing Innovation on the LINCS website at links.ed.gov under State Resources and then Federal Initiatives.